Welcome to Time to Buy or Sell by Wykert Realtors, Sierra Pacific Group. Today we will be discussing the housing market in West Sacramento. Thank you so much for tuning in.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
So our mission for this deep dive is to really cut through the noise and give you, the listener, whether you're buying or selling, a clear look at what's actually happening right now. Because honestly, the data is throwing some pretty mixed signals.
It really is. I mean, on one hand, you've got like 68% of closed listings selling in under 30 days.
Wow, that's fast.
Right. At full asking price, too,
Mm-hmm.
which sounds like an absolute frenzy. But then at the exact same time, a quarter of sellers are actively slashing their prices.
It begs the question, like, which reality is the true West Sacramento market? It's
Exactly.
kind of like driving a car where the speedometer says you're flying at 80, but your GPS says you're crawling at 30. You know you're moving, but you really need to know the actual speed before you make a massive financial decision. So let's unpack this.
Well, to get that true speed, we looked under the hood at the most recent MLS data.
The multiple listing service.
Yeah, exactly. The primary database we use for active properties.
Right.
And looking at the window from late February to late March, we get a really accurate pulse. Out of 100 total listings, 52 are active, 20 are pending, and 25 just closed.
Okay.
But here's the wildest stat. The median list price and the median close price are perfectly aligned at $589,000.
Wait, perfectly aligned. So, sellers are just getting exactly what they're asking for across the board.
Well, no, not across the board. And that's kind of the catch here. The market is aggressively punishing overconfidence right now.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, if a seller prices their home correctly,
Mm-hmm.
based on current neighborhood comps, buyers just pounce. Those well-priced homes have a median of just 22 days in the market.
Okay, but if buyers are pouncing, why are 25% of listings taking price drops? That seems, I don't know, totally contradictory.
It does, but it's because buyers have become incredibly disciplined.
Yeah.
They aren't just, throwing money at anything with a for sale sign anymore.
Right.
If a seller gets greedy and overprices their home, buyers simply ignore it. Those homes sit on the market, they grow stale, and eventually they have to slash prices to get any attention.
So they really pay for that mistake.
Big time. Overall, sellers are getting about 98.6% of their asking price.
Which is still great.
It is, yeah. It shows buyers are engaged, but they're negotiating ruthlessly on homes that miss the mark on day one.
So the frenzy is basically reserved exclusively for well-priced homes. But pricing right isn't just about looking at a citywide average of $518,000, is it? It depends heavily on the specific neighborhood.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, West Sacramento is practically two different markets depending on where you look.
Really?
Yeah, there's a massive $190,000 gap between the newer planned communities and the older core neighborhoods.
The $190,000 swing, that's huge. Where exactly are we seeing this?
Well, if you look at newer spots like Westlake and Village 2, typical values are sitting up in the mid to high $500,000. But then you jump over to older, established core neighborhoods like Michigan Glide Sutter, and you're looking at the $390,000.
Wow. Why such a massive gap? Is it purely just the age of the homes?
Age plays a part, sure, but it's really driven by lifestyle factors. The newer subdivisions often feature modern community amenities.
Right, like parks and pools.
Exactly. Plus, highly rated school zones and distinct commute advantages into downtown Sacramento. Buyers are just willing to pay a premium for that turnkey planned community lifestyle.
That makes total sense.
And the older core neighborhoods, I mean, they offer great affordability and character, but they don't always have those same built-in neighborhood perks.
And I'd imagine that $190,000 gap becomes even more of a hurdle when you factor in mortgage rates.
Oh, definitely.
Because we just saw rates bump from 5.98% in late February up to 6.22% by mid-March. And I know a quarter of a percent doesn't sound like much on paper.
Right, seems small.
But in reality, that instantly shrinks your buying power.
It really does. Think of that rate bump less like a gust of wind hitting your car and more like your budget suddenly dropping while you're standing in the checkout line.
Oh, that's a great way to put it.
Yeah, it immediately changes your monthly payment math. A 6.22% rate prices some buyers entirely out of those newer $500,000 plus neighborhoods like Westlake.
Right, forcing them to pivot their search.
Exactly, down to the more affordable $390,000 core areas.
Which means demand for those older neighborhoods might actually heat up as buyers chase that affordability.
Precisely.
So what's the bottom line here for you, the listener?
Well, if you're a seller, you just have to nail your pricing strategy from day one. You want to be the home selling in 22 days, not the stale listing taking a price cut.
And for buyers.
Move aggressively on the homes priced right, but don't be afraid to negotiate hard on the ones that have been sitting.
So it's a market that rewards strategy over speed, which leaves us with something to think about. As rates continue to fluctuate and push buyers toward affordability, will that massive $190,000 price gap between West Sacramento's newer subdivisions and older core neighborhoods begin to shrink by summer? We'll be watching closely. Thanks for listening to Time to Buy or Sell. If you have questions about real estate in West Sacramento, we're here to help. Reach out to us at Weichert Realtors Sierra Pacific Group. That's Weichert Realtors online at wrspg.com or call 916-619-1971.